Hi, welcome back. I'm Manon, and this is A Grateful Tangle. I am going to spend the next little bit talking about things that I make, mostly knitting, but also, as you will see in just a minute, I am going to touch on some sewing as well, and a few things just about everyday life. So I appreciate you being here. This is episode 5, and I think I'm starting to get the hang of things. I The editing has been the hardest part for me. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to editing, so I've been trying. I've been trying my best to make sure that the volume stays fairly consistent, especially when there's like the musical transitions at the beginning and end, and any other random noises that I don't know, just shove into the mix. But who knows? It's pretty much chaos all the time here. So anyway, the first thing that I wanted to start with is I am wearing something handmade. I made this dress. So I will, here, let me back up, make sure I'm not gonna smash a cat's tail. This is, it's a little bit wrinkly, and it's not 100% perfect. Anybody that is any sort of sewist is going to be like, oh my gosh, what did she do there? But I did it. So there's the back. It isn't as crooked as it looks on me. This is the Petrichor Pinafore by Liberated. I believe it's their newest pattern release. And let's see, let me take my notes off of there. And it is, I made, let's see, is that, there we go. I made the size 20. I think I made the size 20. It might have been the 18. And I made the size 18. Hold on. I know that I know I can just correct it on the screen, but I can look it up right here. I made the size 18. And I feel like it's a little bit larger than what I would than maybe what I would like, but it's not overly large. It's not overly large, so much so that I won't wear it. So I'll tell you a few things about this. This is the second thing I've sewn. The first thing the first thing that I have ever made sewing wise, at least trying to follow a pattern, was the orchard top, I think is what it's called. That one's by Helen's Closet, and it's also a dress pattern. And it didn't come out the best, but it didn't come out bad. I wear it. It's comfortable. It fits me. It taught me a few things that I then transferred to this pattern. And this is so comfy. So I will tell you a little bit about this, and also that I do intend to make another one. I think I'll probably make the next one in a size 16. So I'll size it down a little bit, and I'll also make the straps a little bit shorter. The instructions are so incredibly clear. There were a few things that I had to look up only because I don't know how to sew. And there's something called Stitch in the Ditch, which turns out is stitching in this little crevice right here. So it makes sense. But that I had to look that term up. I used fusible interfacing, so that was kind of exciting. It has pockets. I've made something with pockets now. That's really cool. The fabric that I used is a linen rayon blend that I got at Joann's Fabrics. I don't have a brand name, but it's this really, really nice orangey color. It's not quite a rust, but it's not a true orange. Orange is my favorite color. I think orange goes with everything. Most people that I know would never ask me for color advice because of that, but I think it goes with everything. I made the longer version. If you look here at the these illustrations on the front page of the pattern that I printed out, or the instruction packet, I made the longer of the two dresses. And I think I might shorten it maybe an inch or two the next time I make it, but all in all, it's a wonderful pattern. I absolutely love it. I did make this one in, I didn't use matching thread because one of the things that I knew was going to happen, and it did, and I was glad that I used a contrasting thread. I used a dark brown thread because if I used a matching one, I knew I was going to make mistakes. And I wanted to be able to find those mistakes so I could seam rip them, and it did happen. I made a mistake when I was sewing. The reason that you do the stitch in the ditch is to kind of pin the back part of this together like this. This has a facing piece, and the first time that I did it, I didn't quite catch all of that back one. So the visible stitching, all the hem, any part of here that has a visible stitching, you can't really see the line here because I was pretty good actually about getting that stitch right in that crevice. But anyway, so it does have contrasting thread. I don't think it looks bad. But when I've leveled up, I think I'm probably at a level, if we're going off of like video game leveling, say 50 is the max, I think I'm probably at about a level 3 on sewing. Once I get to maybe a 7 or 8, depending upon what categories I throw my stats into, I might be able to stitch using a matching thread and not need that little cushion of being able to see it so I can rip everything out. So now that I have lost all of the non-gamers with that absolutely insane lingo, so that's what I'm wearing that I made myself. I am incredibly proud. Like, I'm incredibly proud. I cannot even say enough. I am so proud of this like mediocrely executed. I don't want to say mediocre pattern because the pattern is exquisite. But the job that I did, definitely not a 10. But I am so flippin' proud that I am 100% going to hashtag this on Instagram. I am going to tag So Liberated like I'm some sort of master, but I will put in there the caveat that this is like 100% a beginner, me being a beginner, so that people that are looking at that pattern don't look at it and go, oh, oof, eef. But I'm proud. And I feel like they should be proud for making a pattern that's so clearly written that somebody like me who's never taken a sewing class or really learned anything about sewing other than what I have Googled on YouTube could get through the pattern and actually make something that's wearable. So that was not knitting related. Thanks for sticking around if you did and you don't care about sewing. So I have made some progress on the staple linen top by Joji Locatelli. It's still going slow. I'm still letting the that hand spun cotton yarn relax before I knit. So like I'll knit an inch of the body and then I'll pull more of that yarn out into a small little ball and let it unwind and relax because otherwise it's an absolute nightmare working with that yarn. I almost feel like I shouldn't even give the brand of the yarn, but if you look up my project on Ravelry, you'll see what yarn I used. And it's a gorgeous color. I really love the color. It's the second skein that I used on it is incredibly overspun and makes it very, very hard. Very hard to knit. It makes it hard to do anything with, really. You pull it out of the ball and it just winds right back up on itself. So that is a slow going process, but I think I've done about 1 inch on it in the past week. So that's been really, really, that's been really nice. It'll be really nice to finally get that done this summer. But I started a new project because today is the DRK knit along for the spring. I've never done one of Andrea Mowry's, like the 3-day. She does one in the spring and one in the fall, and I want to say that they always fall on the 3-day weekend windows in the United States. So this weekend is Memorial Day, and then in the fall we have Labor Day. I am praying to the gods that I didn't get that backwards, but I'm fairly certain that I'm right. Anyway, so for this 3-day weekend, there is a knit along, and it's kind of a challenge. It's to knit a hat in the weekend, over the weekend, and get it finished by Monday at noon Eastern time, which I believe is Andrea Mowry's time zone. So if you are doing it, the hat that is this year's is the Traveler hat. It's her latest hat release. She has other patterns that are this same texture family. She has the Traveler pullover and hoodie and a cowl and a shawl, and I'm probably missing other stuff. But anyway, those are, they're all really lovely patterns. The Traveler hoodie, I think, is really, really stunning. I don't know if I'll ever make it, just because I think I would need to do a bit of figuring out the cropped body style isn't really what I wear often. And so I think I would have to do a bit of finagling to kind of figure out how to best make that fit my body. So I may or may not make it someday, but it's gorgeous. I love it. Anyway, that has nothing to do with this weekend's knit along. So the Traveler hat knit along, if anybody is interested in popping in on that, I feel like it's one of those more the merrier type things. I'll put a link in the description to I'll try to do a link to the direct post that she posted a few days ago with details on Instagram. It's got a few slides in it, and it talks about there's some prizes for anybody that finishes and lets her know that you're finished. There is a Ravelry group where you can introduce yourself, show what yarn you're going to use. This pattern has both worsted and fingering instructions, so that's great. I want to say that the adult size hat takes about 70 grams of yarn, so it can easily be a stash buster, especially if you're like me and you've made a sweater and you realize that you ended up with an entire skein extra or almost an entire skein extra for a project. So that's really cool. The yarn that I am using, I can even show you how far I am. So this is how far I am. Look, does that look like it's going to fit anybody's head? I always think it's so funny making them on fixed circulars, because you can't stretch it and you don't. It's like, well, let's hope. So anyway, the yarn that I'm using is a worsted weight hand-dyed skein of yarn that I got from Gritty Knits monthly subscription. This was July of 2023. I've had this one for a while. This gives me super watermelon vibes, and I don't know if you can really, I don't know if you can get the like true gorgeous green of that, and that really, really pretty pink. on screen, but it's beautiful. I love this. I don't know if she has any extra left over, but I'm really excited. And the funny thing is when I got this yarn and I opened it up, it was the middle of last summer and it was sweltering here. It was probably 7 billion degrees that day. And I opened it up and the first thing I thought was, oh my God, that is a watermelon. If I can find in my old pictures a picture of it before it was caked up, I'll throw that on the screen, but I'm not sure that I have one. But my first thought was this would be so perfect as a hat for the winter time, because it would give like that pop of like summertime barbecue. That there's something about, this is so ridiculous. I'm not a huge fruit person. I'm not big on sweets really. But there is something about the first bite of watermelon of the season to me that like really cold, really juicy, just yummy. It's almost like taking a bite of a refreshing drink, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I thought it would make a perfect winter hat. So when Andrea Mowry posted that she was going to do this knit along, I thought, I'm trying to show you this really cute stitch marker that's like pinkish gold. When she announced that she was going to do this, I immediately thought, that watermelon yarn, that needs to be that hat. So that's what's currently on my needles. I have one other project that's currently, no, I don't have one other project. I've got about 700 projects on needles right now, but I have one that is, that I consider my active whips, as opposed to my relaxing whips, which are usually on vacation in my whip basket. There's usually a few. But I am making I don't have a pattern for this. This is a self-drafted pattern. Oh, and I am almost done writing up the self-drafted pattern for that head wrap that I wore the other week that I was saying I'm going to get written up this month. So if anybody is interested in that head wrap pattern, leave me a comment, let me know, and we can get in touch and I can send that to you. So this is I think this is called a daisy stitch, although when I Google it, there are quite a few different types of daisy stitches. So it has a plain stockinette tail here, and my plan is to make this into a hair bow. So I'm going to make it, let's see here. I'm going to make it a little bit longer, and I'll have 2 of these loops to make, and then I'll have another tail of decreases at the other end. And then once it's washed and blocked, I'll gather it here, and I'm thinking I'll probably put a really cute button as the middle, and then I'll make these parts go down, and that it'll be just a really, really cute, fun textured little hair bow that I think will look really, really cute, like at the back of a, so anyway, I can picture what I'm talking about. I apologize to you if I completely annihilated the description there. So, I have that I am currently working on as well. I'm hoping that one will be done within the week. I am going to work all diligently and very hard at getting this hat done this weekend. So I'll start working on that one after I get the hat finished and it's blocking. I have a couple of yarn acquisitions that I wanted to show you. The Gritty Knits monthly yarn for this month has arrived, and oh my God, Becky, look at this yarn. That's really funny because the next yarn that I'm actually going to show you is called OMG Becky. So this yarn is the Merinosaurus Worsted of the Month by Gritty Knits, May 2024. I absolutely love it. It is a mixture between highlighter yellow and highlighter green. Both of those make very real and vibrant appearances in this squishy little number. The yellow that you see here, when I'm looking at that in real life, that to me looks banana yellow, and then it fades into like you wouldn't miss the banana yellow anyway, but this is bright. So I got that. I'm really excited about that. The extra this month was, oh, it was a shawl pen, a gorgeous shawl pen. I wish that I had brought it to show you. I'll put a picture up on the screen of this stunning shawl pen that Gritty Knit sent with this month's subscription. And I was going to mention too, the monthly subscription for Gritty Knits also every month comes with a $10 off coupon code. So that is just really handy. And I'll put a link to the Gritty Knits website where you can find the different subscriptions on there. It's not just worsted weight that they do. They do a fingering weight, and I think they also do a fiber of the month. That is like pre-dyed. It's a pre-dyed braid. I think that's the correct terminology. A braid. So anywho, now this is yarn that I got, but this is not my yarn. I've mentioned before that my husband is the dyer at Anzula Luxury Fibers, and this is a yarn base that they have called Lil in the Middle, and it is their Mod Yarns line. And this is a thick and thin. I think this works up to be at a bulky gauge. I don't think it's super bulky, but I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. And it is mostly superwash merino. It's a thick and thin yarn. And Little in the Mill, but she got much back. That's a song, right? That's from Baby Got Back. Anyway, this colorway is called OMG Becky. And this was given to me by my husband's coworker so that I can knit her up a headscarf in it. And I am really, really excited to do that because I love headscarves, and I've given her a couple of mine to borrow, and she loves them too. And this is really, really cute because these colors in here are literally the color of her hair. So I'm really excited to do that, and I just wanted to show it off. If you like this colorway, I believe that it will be listed on Anzula's website if it's not already, but if not, leave me a message and let me know, and I'll figure out what the deal is with that. And my last whip that I'm going to talk to you about is the Star Drop from Stardew Valley, which is my favorite video game of all time. Nothing will ever compare to Stardew Valley in my mind. But anyway, the Star Drop, I'm going to put a picture of it up on the screen, and so that you can kind of see what a Star Drop is. It is a in the game, it is a fruit that you can grow and harvest, and I just think it's super cute. I have a tattoo of one on my forearm, and I have designed in my head, and actually have already designed the charted color work for it. It's a colorwork yoke sweater that is I'm going to be making with a worsted weight yarn, and I have decided to do a 3-color color work, so 4 colors total, main color, 3 contrast colors, And it is a colorwork yoke of that star drop in a repeat around like the circular yoke pattern. And I have been working on my colorwork swatch for it. So these are the first two colors in the pattern. You can kind of see these are little twinkly stars. This here, this main color that you see here will not be part of the pattern, but it's part of the swatch because this this pattern repeat is wedge shaped so that it fits, you know, like each one, it grows and grows and grows. So I needed to have stitches in between it so that as I get down to this lower part, there will be enough room for it. So anyway, let me just place this. I'm designing it so that it will kind of fit in the top. So there's a little bit more of this to go. I'm just going to kind of see how this swatch works up. The other two colors that are going to be used in this to make the actual star drop, which I'm putting on the screen again so that you can see the colors of it. There's the green for the leaf up top, and then the star, the like kind of fruit part of it. I'm going to be using this really, really gorgeous. I think this one's called Dahlia. I don't remember what this one is called. And I know that the brown one, my main color is called Sexy, and I don't remember what this one is called, but they're all Anzula. They're all for better or worsted, which is superwash, cashmere, and I think maybe nylon. I think it's 80% superwash, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong on that one. So anyway, that is, that's the story for that swatch. It's coming along and I'm really excited about it. If there's anybody that also loves Stardew Valley, please tell me. I would love to know. So that's that. Okay, lastly, I wanted to update on the, I had talked last week about making a DPN holder that was modeled after like a dice bag, a drawstring dice bag from a company whose name I'm not remembering. There was a sewing pattern. I think it is AppleGreen. Sorry, my glasses are an absolute mess. Much better. AppleGreen Cottage. AppleGreen Cottage. Green Apple Cottage. I think it's AppleGreen. And I have gone ahead and kind of cut out a circle that I believe is about 22 inches wide. Out of paper. I got a big piece of like butcher paper and I cut out a large circle that I'm going to use as the outside of the drawstring bag. And then I'm going to make another circle that is maybe about 2 inches shorter than it on each side. And both of those circles I'm going to put, I'm going to make them out of fabric. I'm going to sew them together so that they have a backing and turn them inside out so that they look kind of finished. And then the inside one, what I'm going to do, the smaller one, is I'm going to take that and I'm going to stitch like spokes of a wheel around the main one so that when you close it up, those are all, they have little pockets where the DPNs will be held. So, and I think that is going to work. I have some fabric here that is okay for me to use, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's spare fabric. This is left over from some curtains that my sister made once. And I'm not even really sure why she gave me her remnants, but she did. So I have this. This one is a thicker. I feel like this would make a really good outer piece of the fabric just because it has a bit of structure to it. It's more of like a tapestry type fabric. I apologize to anybody that knows about sewing, and I'm probably using the wrong wording for these things, but it's tapestry-ish. It kind of feels like outdoor pillow cushion fabric. So anyway, I feel like that might be a nice one for the outer bit of fabric. And then I have this orange, it's kind of like a linen. I think it might actually be like a linen, or a really nubby, yeah, I think it's linen. So I think that this might, I don't know if I'll have enough. I might have enough to make the inner circle of it. And then I'll use something else for the lining. If I find that that tapestry fabric is a little bit too thick, I also have this really pretty like brown and white cotton. It looks like this is just a regular cotton. It said made exclusively for Joanne right on the edge. So who knows? I don't know where this came from. But I had it in my craft stash, and I feel like this would work too. So that is on my list of things to do probably this next week after I finish up the traveler hat. I will go ahead and start tackling that DPN holder, because I feel like I would just really, really like to have a place to hold my DPNs that isn't the crappy way that I store them now. So that, I think that about does it. As far as it goes, for things that I was going to, at the end of every episode, I try to remember to post something, a link to something that is bringing me joy currently, or that I think that other people might be interested in. And I was thinking that for today, I was just going to link to a couple of albums that I've been listening to a lot recently. So I will do that just as a forewarning. One of them is slightly metal. So if you aren't into slightly metal, don't click on that. I'll put the genre in parentheses next to the albums that I'm going to list. And if there's anything that you are listening to and is bringing you joy, I would love to know what it is. And as always, if you want to connect with me out of the realm of YouTube, I have a Ravelry group that I would love it if you join. I have a Discord server that you're more than welcome to join if you're familiar with how Discord works. You can also follow me on Instagram. I am not great at answering direct messages on Instagram, but I do get around to it from time to time. So I think that's it for today. I hope everybody has a really, really great weekend, and that you have time to spend crafting or reading or I don't know, just doing something that helps you relax and helps you feel like you're connecting with a part of you that you really, really like. So with that being said, thanks for being here. I appreciate the time that you spent with me, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye.